Good afternoon. Right. Good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon, sir.
Right. Okay. So we'll change the dates and the place. So we are back at IBSL, and we may start from 4 hours today, and most probably I think the next week or so. I mean, like, how many hours? Maybe 16 hours. No, we'll see. Right. Right. Let me just go through now the what we have discussed last week, right? And just to quickly go through the what we have discussed last time. We in fact discussed about the relationship, the importance of relationship management, and then to relationship marketing, and we discussed how that relationship marketing moved to the CRM, right? And we discussed so today is no more competitive advantage, so everything has gone down, so somebody will copy, so therefore no competitive advantage you can enjoy now. Then we discuss about the augmented layer. Everybody is trying to keep add value to your augment layer. So one time the augmented layer is become a normal functional layer. So then we discuss there is you can copy anything, you can substitute anything. Then we talk about the acquisition extreme and the retention extreme. So we can't uh, fully endorse with acquisition extreme. So we also cannot enjoy with retention extreme. We have to have a hybrid situation, right? Then, so therefore, the CRM we discuss in detail. We basically want to answer all the problem faced at the relationship marketing. So then we discuss the what is customer relationship management in detail, and it is how it creating a long-term, long life relationships. And then we went in to discuss about the again we briefly touch why we say CRM is a multifaceted solution, and we look at it in different angle about the customer. And in order to develop a lifetime advantage of CRM, so what are the areas we need to look at it? Then we basically discuss the three important areas of CRM, that is operational and analytical and collaborative. So where we discuss the Salesforce automation and how important that software packages for you to understand about the CRM with regard to contact management, territory management, lead management, activity, incentive, customer asset management, how SFA facilitate through operational CRM we'll discussing in detail last week, right? And then we also went in to discuss about the analytical CRM, where how you use your data, warehousing, mining, OLAP to understand your customer better. Then we discuss about the collaborative, or sometimes we call them as a strategic CRM. So how collaborative CRM help. Now, collaborative, what we are trying to do, we try to collect all the information coming from all the sources, and the CRMs need to be applied in the entire organization's point of view. Then we discuss the relationship between technology and the customer. So how your data mining, databases, data analysis, automation used to create, develop, enhance, retain your existing customer. And then we touch on the CRM process uh, and the customer base, software, relationship history, customer analytics, personalized marketing. That is how you convert your customer satisfaction, loyalty to retain. Right, and then we discuss about the CRM strategy in a different way, and then we discuss in details about the recency, frequency, and monetary aspects, and discuss about the strategically significant customers. Are we going to uh, relationship management focus on everybody, or maybe select strategically significant customers and try to sort out their problems. So then we discuss about how to determinants of strategically significant customers, and then we categorize the 80/20 customer pyramid scheme, where we identify four type of customers from lead to platinum, and that is what we have discussed last week and the first week as well. Today is the third week. Now today we are going to discuss in a different way. We look at it, how can you create a value for customers, right? So we are going to creating value for customers. Now basically these sections we are trying to examine the importance of customer value as a strategic approach to doing business. Now we are, as we discussed earlier also, we are in a very hyper competitive marketplace, and the market space very brutal as well. So therefore, so how you importance of understanding of customer value, right? So there it explores the customer value theory and valid conceptual framework for strategically positioning your organization uh, and to deliver more superior customer value for competitive advantage. And customers basically well aware, so they are not just by goods and services. We need to consider them as our strategic business partners. Right. Now, what happens when businesses leaders fail to set up of the task of focusing this customer value? What happened? So, if they are not offering value additions to your existing product and services, you may losing profits, and then you're losing your market share, and customers are moving for a more favorable offerings offered by a competitor, right? Therefore, CRM we can consider always as a business strategy which is falling in line with your corporate objective and corporate strategy, and mind you, your internal entire processes must be integrated, right, which facilitate to uh, fulfill the external customers. So that is how you helps an organization to creating value for customers. Now let's look at it, some of the salient features um, and importance of customer value in today's the present the business context, right? So we look at it, how customer value play an important role in today's business. Now, as we discuss uh, today's successful business strategy, always try to add superior or give superior customer value. So these are some of the key things: customer value. If whatever the strategy you're going to develop is inbuilt some sort of a customer value. Right? Now people are buying cost values, not products and services anymore. They buy benefits, and how you get the benefit to providing the customer value. Now it's that is why it is a supreme in today's marketplace, right? Customer never buy features, they're buying the values. So customers will not pay more than the product is worth and will reward excellence. So customers willing to reward buying more goods from you, right? If they satisfy their needs and wants better than your competitor. So culture in that sense focus directions to the organization, uh, and everybody need to add value to your offers. So the culture need to be developed in such a manner So bring new ideas, right, to the organization. Now, example, I can quote with you one garment leading factory in Sri Lanka. So they develop a culture uh, how to add value to your business process. So what they are requesting each and every employee to come up with some idea about how can you add value to your business process, right? So only thing is they are offering 5,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees for anybody who provided that the offer, I mean, ideas to the customers, right? Now, example, uh, every employee was requested to put down or face the idea. It may be very simple, maybe sometimes it's the bad idea, but he was requested to put into the notice board, right? It is put into the notice board. So the best idea selected by the management, which add value to the business process, will be awarded 5,000 rupees, right? This is how they create the culture in an organization to every employee to bring new added value additions to the business process, right? Okay. So then the another importance of customer value. Uh, so through that, you can bring the market leadership positions, right? So keeping your existing market leadership position is a very challenging one. You know, the moment is somebody will catch up your market share, and it's very difficult to retain you as a market leadership position. So therefore, adding values, you are not only satisfying the customer, but also you can keep it your market leadership positions in the at least the same point. So therefore, management, they have realized they have important thing about the customer value, right? So every time they talk something, it become a mandate for a management. Look, avenues for improve your customer value proposition, right? So then another important thing is, so today in the new services and information based economy, a lot of people are well aware about what is happening in the market, what are the solutions and what are the products available in the market. So therefore, in this value added and information based, knowledge based economy, customer value play an important role, right? And then they have realized, uh, so if you are not provide, again, as I keep on telling you, and you may disappear. So they have identified key ingredient for competitive advantage is value. So value, therefore, we noted that play an important role. One way customers are sophisticated, educated, and they're expecting a maximum value for their offer, for their cost, right? So these are some of the salient or importance or strategic view of customer value. Why every organization try to add values to your offering, right? So having understood that basics understanding about value, why it is important, let me explain what is the really a customer value. Now, customer value now can be understood in different ways. Now, in the context of CRM or customer relationship management, value we can define as the customer's insight of the balance between advantages received from a product or services and the sacrifice made to experience those advantages. Now, he need to sacrifice certain things to obtain that benefits. No? So maybe sacrifice may be in terms of time, in terms of cost, whatever, right? So that is value. For an organization, customer value is something related to customer satisfaction, right? So through that value offering is the customer satisfaction. So brand needs to serve in return of price. Now you are willing to pay sometime little higher price if you get a better value, right? So that's the basic. Right. Then, as I explained to you earlier, creating value customer means saving their time, energy, and money. So basically, value, they look at it, perceived benefits need to outweigh this cost. Right? There is expecting some benefit from using a particular product or services. So they are expecting certain benefit more than what they are spending. So creating value means then maximizing the benefits within an acceptable price point. There's a price point there, right? So from that point onward, we have to give a more value to the customer. So therefore, benefits and cost are the two main ingredients of customer value. Now, what you look at is the benefits include form of quality, the popularity, accessibility, convenience, longevity, everything, right? So you need to look at it all the aspects. From balance part of our lecture today, what we are going to look at it, how can you add value to the customer? How can we see where are the opportunities available for us to add values to the customer, right? So therefore, values can be mathematically expressed as value equal to benefit minus cost, right? So that is mathematically we say customer value. Then we look at it. What value do you deliver to your customers? Right, as I explained to you earlier. So now we are going to look at it. Ways and means or strategies you can use it to add value to your offer or add value to your offer. Right. Now you may look at it, the entire process we explain through the concept called customer value pyramid. We call the customer value pyramid, right? So through this pyramid, it represents three phases. First one is the strategy. Then the second stage is the customer focus. Third phase, the operational effectiveness. Right? Now, three phases we look at it adding value. Now, first phase, organizations formulate an effective business plan, every organization. And for that matter, for bank, you need to prepare a strategic plan for organization. Every bank need to prepare a strategic plan. And that is basically also a mandatory thing, need to be done according to the regulator. And you may have the corporate governance. Now, one of the main functions of the corporate governance of the board of directors to look at it, your strategic plan is adequately prepared, comprehensively prepared by your senior management, and the board will be look at it whether your senior management have prepared this your strategy plan according to the prevailing market situation, right? So this is a duty of the board of directors to see whether your strategic plan is properly done and developed, take into account the market condition prevailing in the business operation and things like that. That is why in one way we need to have a balanced board of directors to understand whether you have prepared the strategic plan in that way, right? So then we look at it whether your strategic business plan, goals and strategies, when you're developing your strategies, they will look at it whether the new customer, what you call the customer values strategies are incorporated and things like that, right? So therefore, the first state of the customer value pyramid, you need to have a better strategic business goals and strategies. Then the second stage, right, having understood the strategic goals and objective of your organization, then we look at the customer focus stage, where the customer focus stage, we have identified the desired real value, right? Analyzing the procedure to bring required changes to the offer. To what extent the employees are involving and contributing to add values to your business. So there they discuss about these 4 stages, right? The pyramid we call goal strategies. Now we are in the second stage, customer focus stage, where basically what aspects an organization should take into account. So organization may look at it as any organization, we look at it identifying the requirement of customer. Now, you know, in the marketing process, we discuss in detail, will evolve what you can offer to the market, but what customer can request from the market. That is inside and outside approach, right? Rather than inside out, we look at it outside in. So that, of course, you need to look at it like marketing, to do some sort of a research or identify what customers want, right? Then determining the aspect that can be important to customers. So that's a normal thing. We look at it, okay, a lot of organizations provide solution to the customer. But when we look at it, what are the main factors that can be important to the customers? How can you add value? What areas we can add value by satisfying customers? So what unique factors about the product or about the services that can be achieving customer profitably, right? So I'm keep on telling customers are not buying product, they are buying benefits. So how can you provide benefits? Through the adding values. So there may be a lot of value gaps in the markets. So we are trying to identify and then to fulfill. Right now, example in finance also, today's context, we may know when you providing financial information to the third parties, we call the reporting method is integrating reporting. Financial integrate reporting. I think today with financial statement, one of the key area those chartered accountants associations and chartered body, when they evaluating the organization annual report for awarding purposes, they look at it, the what you call integrated reporting, right? So what do you mean by integrated reporting? This is not the merely providing information with regard to the financial position through balance sheet, through P&L and cash flow and other important statements. Okay, these are important, but they look at it, how an organization add value to the customers, to what extent they disclose all this information, non-financial information, especially how they create value to the customers. Their business are offering value to the customer. So that's a new thing. Now you can understand. In financial reporting also, they look at the value through the integrated reporting system, right? That's a point you need to think. Right. Then the fourth steps, we look at the operational efficiency. We'll go into detail later on. The operational efficiency. That's the primary system to create customer value. Our systems need to be there to provide customer value. The customer value, we look at it four systems. How about the quality system, HR systems, information systems, and the business system. All these systems are the primary systems you can make use of to add value in the operational efficiency, effectiveness. Right? This is what you call the customer value pyramid approach of adding value. Okay, I think now you have an idea about that. Then we look at it another technical aspect. You may look at it the value, a framework. Now, even for corporate governance and things, we may have a framework, right? How corporate governance will take on. They may look at it the transparency, right? They may look at it the consistency. They may look at the accountability. All they look at, that's a framework. Likewise, customer value also have some sort of a framework that will facilitate or to identify your customers and creating value for them. Now, when you creating a framework for customer value, so usually organizations to conduct research surveys for determine the needs of the customer. So the value framework therefore involved in 4 elements. If you're going to add value, so you need to value within this framework. They look at it, the delivery quality. I'll explain little this, all these things. Then customer intimacy, orchestrated customer learning, So learning is play an important role, right? We have a learning theory. We discuss about cognitive learning, right? And there are different type of learning, and we learn number of different type of learning curves. Skinner developed some learning mechanism, and value need deep dive. So let me explain this framework in little more details. Let's look at it now. These four quadrants of this customer intimacy, delivery quality, right? This framework we discuss, we can put into four elements. These four elements, we put it as a quadrant. If you put this quadrant, we look at it from x-axis. Customer know their needs, right? In that case, there are sometimes customer well aware their needs, and sometimes customers are not aware. Now, I can tell you one example. Some customers are aware, but some customers are not known at all, unknown their needs. Example, say a lot of we as bankers, customers, when we are telling them to take some insurance for mortgage insurance or something, they may not willing to take that. So it's an extra cost for them. And we have to explain to them, creating awareness about having a mortgage policy, how important customer for you as well as for the bank, both them, right? The other side, like suppliers, that mean bankers, known customer needs are sometimes they don't aware. Both things, we look at it, what customer knows about their needs, and bankers may be known customer needs. Sometimes we knew, but sometimes we don't know what really customers want. When understood this, it is very easy for us to develop a customer care or customer value additions to your existing product or offer. Now, having mind in this framework, let's look at it each quadrant. We look at it the elements of customer value. Look at it known. That is the delivery quality. That's the delivery quality. Now, indicate first box that focuses on delivering quality. That is known. Customers are well aware about what the customer wants, and banks also well aware what the customers want. Customer themselves, they know what they want, and bank also know what they want. So that's a known situation. So therefore, what happened now? Everybody is aware of their needs. So we need to focus at values in the delivery aspects, the delivering quality aspects, right? So how can you deliver quality to the customers? Example from the bank point of view. How you provide the superior quality service. We have a lot of initiative banks have taken for that. Right? We have a relationship managers. We have a day stock delivery methodology. Go and collect the whatever the deposits or whatever the services to customer, meet them, right? So that is what you call known. Customer also aware, bank also aware. So how can you value them? So you need to provide in the delivery quality aspects. Then we move into the next level, that is known unknown. What is known unknown represent the customer intimacy, right? Now this box of customer value framework, organizations need to understand the requirement of its customers through customer intimacy. Now customer may be not aware what is want. That is why I call known unknown. The known customer known. So for that, scanning, observing, detecting, examining, right? And we look at it. What sort of customer needs? How can you process based on trust and confidence? So that is why sometimes we have a cameras in supermarkets. So they we have the cameras and they look at it where the customers are going first. What level of eye contacts, what products they are buying, like that. So that's another area you may look at it when you're creating a value. Right? You also can do in the branch layout designing. Once you enter into the branch, what customer is being. So accordingly, you can decide your branch layout. Okay, right. Next one, unknown known. Now, unknown known showed the third box. That is what you call the orchestrated customer learning, where the organizations need to let customers learn through a process of coordination. For that, organizations may conduct workshops, customer interactions to understand the needs of the customer. Right now, for that, usually the banks are conducting, we call customer gathering, small gathering, right? A lot of banks are carried out these things. Customers meetings, maybe they may offer some liquor or food or whatever, and form a informal meeting with customers and get views about customers. You may carry out workshops, also get-togethers, small get-togethers. Through that, you may try to understand what the customer wants. And the last one, you may think on the unknown unknown. So that indicates the situation where no one, either organization or maybe the customers, needs of each other. So it's very difficult for organization to create value for customers. Now here we use value net deep dive model to create value for customers. So value net deep dive means, so you are going to insight about really what customers want. You need to have a sampling testing, right? then test marketing to see whether what the customers was really. So this is a framework when you're developing value to the customer. These are the framework of 4 areas. You may look at it, add values to your customer offering. Right? This framework will give you some sort of a directions or some sort of guidelines. How are you going to value your offer? On which directions may be very much successful, right? So that is what you call the framework for customer value. I think you get an idea about, because you see the value is important. If you want to provide a value, we discuss how they look at the value. As banks, this is a framework like a vision. Now in organizational strategic planning process, we learn vision. What is the purpose of the vision for an organization? Strategic plan is give you directions where your organization to go. Likewise, in creating value, they will tell you these are the directions you can look at it. The key results areas that the business person needs to be look at it. If you want to add values, which areas? Right. Now we look at it. The concept called customer value proposition. We look at the concept called CVP. Now, it is an extension of customer value, right? We call customer value proposition. Now, this word has become one of the most widely used terms in the business environment. What is very simply tells CVP. Simply tells you very simply why customer buy your product compared with your competitor's product. Without going to the competitor, why customers are purchasing your product or obtaining your services. That is customer value proposition. It is a description of advantages that a customer would experience after purchasing and using an organization product. Right? Experience the things you can market. Now, when you're marketing, we discuss what are the areas you can market. You can market product and services. You can market events. You can market personalities. You can market places. Right? Anything you can market. Another important thing you can market is the experience. When you go for theme park, we'll go for what you call a roller coaster, no? Right? So what you feel, that is your experience, right? So it's never leave from you. Every time you remember your experiences. So therefore, through customer value proposition, sometimes you're going to add experience. Therefore, CVP can be defined as a business statement that summarizes why customer should purchase a particular product against the competitor. So, therefore, organization uses to understand and how the product would be valued for customers. Right? So, it has to be integrated customer intelligence, competitive insight, and product value. Again, drafting in terms of mathematically or technically or arithmetically, you can say CVP is basically what the customer gets for his money. Benefits, the results of doing business with your organization. Price, how much you cost by the customer, cost to the customer to get that benefit. So answer, the difference between benefits and price or cost is the value. So the answer must always be positive, the equations to be successful. That means benefits basically is more than the value after pricing. Just look at it. Options for the customers. Yeah, as I explained to you, customer would pay you more than the competitor, considering the benefit, or will select the competitor with less benefit at a lower cost. Classic example I can quote it to you. When these Selinco Insurance introduced the on-the-spot insurance claim, so customer had enough experience, bad experience, but their experience with dealing with police and obtain the police report, headache for them. And Selinco look at it that offering a different way. They look at how can you add value in this process, claim process. They introduce, okay, we don't want to get a police report and we pay on the spot for your damage. Yeah, of course, for that, you need to pay little more. But still customers are willing to take that challenge. Therefore, more money to obtain that exceptional or premium service. This is how Selinco, being the number 2 in that market, maybe 20 years ago, being the leader of Sri Lanka Insurance, became the number 1. Around 25 to 30% lost the market share to the Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation. Then after that, even for Selinco Insurance, even after the add value by the Selinco, even for the Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation and other service providers also need to be add value through that, copying that value. Sometimes they may come up with the different alternatives to value. Now, some people say you can immediately, rather than getting the money, right, they will credit it to your credit cards or maybe your account. You can make use of that. Or they give you a similar car to use it. There are a lot of, value creation scheme Once the selling co-insurance introduce some value addition. You see, very simple one. Nobody's thought. Then only later on they keep add more values to that offer. Vehicle claim. You see, the augmented, now everybody is giving, is no more augmented. Right? So value we need to keep on adding. Right. Now, how can you add value? Now, when you look at it, the CVP, we may need to look at it in a very broader spectrum. How can you add value? Can we do this? What must we change? Certain activity we need to outsource. Are we having the required skill? Whether our systems and processes can be cope up these things. Our structure right for that. So are we having the real distribution channel? Are you cost in synchronized? Now that's a good example. I will discuss with you all again with the distribution channel. Now you made an accident, right? You call some insurance guy, he come and pay you on the spot or make a note of that. Suppose if you don't have such a sales force or distribution channel, some people done it. They said, take a photo and send it to us. There's another option there. Add value if you don't have good sales force. So therefore, when you're developing the CVP, mind you, we need to look at it. We need to look at it all the aspects. Right? So therefore, adding value is not a simple thing. It is not a simple thing. Right? So therefore, if you don't have a strong customer enticing value proposition, and therefore it is tough to sell. That's what you need to understand. When you add values, must be enticing value proposition. Right? Second, what is exactly a value proposition? How you add, how to create a killer value proposition, right? How you target, how to create a killer value proposition. So that is what we are going to discuss here, right? Okay, let me just summarize what we have learned, right? Today, up to now, we discuss if you are not add values, what happens? You cannot survive in this highly brutal, competitive market. Even for banks, every institution, remember, are today facing a brutal competition. Top of that, the economic conditions. Mind you that, because economic conditions may further deepen the organizational competition, because people have less money, so therefore they need to manage their highly earned or hard-earned money. How to make maximum out of that. So banks and other organizations also try to give more, try to grab those customers' limited money to their pockets, right? So it's become very difficult. So one solution is, we discussed earlier, the CRM. Now, customer value proposition or customer value is very much part and parcel of CRM, right? So therefore, adding value play an important role. Not only just adding value, keep on adding value. Then after that, we discuss, if you want to survive in the market, so we explain the importance of or salient features of or strategic points of or importance of understanding and adding value, right? Then we move into discuss about the concept called the value. So what is the term value? Technically, is we discuss the value is benefits divided by the cost. Then we went into discuss in detail what is customer value pyramid, right? So we look at it from the strategist point of view and the customer's focuses as well as the operational effectiveness. We look at it why your strategy, your value strategy need to be falling in line with your business strategy. Whatever the business strategy, you can look at it how your creative, your customer value can be created to that, incorporated to your business strategy. Then we look at it customer focus, try to understand what the customers wants in today's context, right? How can improve, what are the framework, what are the areas we can look at it improving or adding values, right? Now for that, we use customer intimacy, delivery quality, orchestrated customer learning, value need deep dive, the 4-quadrant concept, the elements of customer value framework, where you can look at it in which quadrant you need to look at it and need to add values. That is some sort of a vision or guideline, right? Then we went to discuss about the CVP. What is customer value proposition? Why your competitors are buying, why customers are buying your product? They're not going to your competitor. How can you add values to the customers? So what is CVP in mathematically showing? Your benefits minus your cost or the price and the value. And it should be always a positive figure in order to add values to your customers. Right? I explained to you customer options to customers, how the selling co-insurance has done that. Real life example, how other competitors follow that. Whatever the customer value addition, we need to look at it, is it affordable to us? What are the implications of CVP? Whether can we execute? Whether are we having enough resources, capabilities, all things we need to look at it. Just because of we have a fantastic customer value proposition, it won't serve if not practically implemented, right? So therefore, you need to look at it. How you can use value to add to your offer, right? So this is what up to now the first hour we discussed, right? The next hour, therefore, we are going to discuss now how can we do that? How can we create a killer value proposition, right? What you mean by how to create a killer value proposition means customer gain, right? Mindset එකට කොහොමද attack කරන්නේ, right? Now for that, what are the steps involving in developing a CVP, customer value proposition? So it has need to undertake step-by-step approach to develop a CVP. Now, this is a framework. So we call them as a CVP development framework. Let's look at the first. Reviewing and testing the existing CVP. Right now, any process or any plan, what you look at it, even when you're preparing your strategic planning, I think everybody is aware, before you decide your future directions, where you want to be, first you need to look at it. What is your present position? Where are you now? In any strategy plan, right? So we look at it, right? Reviewing the testing the existing CVP, right? In strategy planning, I just try to explain to you to understand, right? In strategy planning, what we do in order to find it out, what is my present organization situation, right? We carried out a lot of analytical tools, used a lot of analytical tools. We look at it, SWOT analysis, we look at the pestle analysis, we look at the BCG matrix, we look at the PLC, we look at the balance scorecard, a lot of areas, you look at it to evaluate your existing position. Likewise, we need to review our testing the existing CVP. I give another important things. Two areas. Now I give you two areas to look at this aspect, right? Another important area, I think you may learn about the change management in your management or maybe in HR or psychology, right? Every time when you go for a change management, you look at it. Rather than we going for a drastic change, we go for incremental change. We can change the minute things and you can expedite. Or otherwise you go drastic, different management change. It's always riskier, right? Second one, even for the court cases, right? Before you're going to ask how those lawyers prove, is it using of the existing cases? There's a judgment given, so this case also similar to that case. There's a judgment given, this particular case, favor of so and so. So therefore, you need to give the same direction. Now, what you try to do, you are trying to compare, analyze your existing case, try to match with the previous decision given case. Likewise, the reviewing and testing the existing CVP. That's the simple, easy thing. When you look at it, even though how many times when you ask for the exam paper, or even we took a decision, then you may thought, I should have done a little better than this. No, I should have done, or I can do it that. Even though I took a decision, I should not have taken that decision. Right? Right? Okay. So you look at it, your previous, and identify what are the critical improvements areas where at the present is not fulfilled by my existing products and services. Identify critical improvement areas. Then you may look at it, is improving the existing CVPs. Or not, you may add some full values. That also we going to look at it. If you cannot improve, add new one. Then, so you need to verify and document it. Justifying your existing or improving CVPs. Right? Even for strategy planning, I'm just take a strategy plan for you to better understand it, right? Even why will recheck whether the strategies implement last year's correct or wrong. That is, for that you need to verify and document. Right? These are the areas. We'll look at a little bit details now. This is the first step. So that is already introduced in the market as current CVP, existing CVP for the product, right? That's the first step. Implies that an organization need to determine the gaps in the CVP of existing product. Maybe that gap can be look at it with the help of earlier known, unknown, or maybe you look at it but competitors are offering, or maybe look at it in a different way. It's a brainstorming how you look at it. But these are very critical steps improving the existing CVP. So you need to validate whether the improved CVP is capable of persuading the customers. That is why we do a lot of testing. That is why we do test marketing. But it's sort of a marketing job, but it's very careful through your test marketing. When you are going to do verify, validating your value, very dangerous. Why? Right? It is a very famous case in the studies in your businesses about test marketing. What is test marketing? Test marketing means you are going to validate your value, whether it is accepting in the market or not. Real lifetime experience. Danger. Why? Your competitor can copy that. Now I'll tell you a classic example on that. Yes, I think most of you are well aware on that. You know the big versus Gillette razor or a disposable razor. Now the Gillette is the first organization, right, came up with this disposable razor. Now earlier we have a permanent, only the blade we remove, right? All other main components remain same, we call. Then people think this is a headache for them, and they look at it more easiest way to do the your what you call this, right? Racing, right? Then what happened? Gillette company came up with the idea about disposable razor. You use it and then just throw it away. Fantastic idea, no? Right. So while they want to do a test marketing, they did some sample testing. That was get to know by the big company, right? So big has, introduced the disposable razor into the market before the originator is introduced to the market. But of course, later on, Gillette also introduced. But who introduced the market? The big razor company, right? So when you introduce something to the market, we need to be very careful in that sense, because your competitor is going to copy. If you're going to validate, it's very careful. I just give you some example. Now I can tell you another example in this ground, right? Now there is a Nescafe, a coffee. They want to introduce to the market. Now what competitor get to know the Nescafe is going to introduce a coffee, new coffee to the market? Then they also came up with some idea. So what during that time is called Maxell copy. Maxis coffee, right? Sorry, Maxis coffee. It's a very famous coffee in UK, right? They are the market leader. The Nescafe, they want to introduce to the UK market, and Maxis company get to know about that. What they have done, they gave 1 kilo packet of coffee for 500 grams price. Right? Now, people bought 1 kilo. That 1 kilo may be enough for 1 month or 2 months sometimes. Right? There's nothing no, only the same price. They give more quantity. So, even though the Nescafe may be good, people don't want to buy. Why? Because they have enough coffee in their home. Right? So ultimately, the Nescafe was delayed and introduced to the market, but ultimately they have done some other strategy. Now you see, if you're going to, I'm just explaining to you, if you're going to test certain products in the market, you need to be very careful, because your competitor can disturb your market. I tell you another good example in Sri Lanka. Right? I think, I don't know whether these maybe some of you are aware, but some of you may be not aware. Now, who introduced the Pepsi Cola to the market? Can anybody tell me who introduced the Pepsi Cola into the Sri Lankan market? Can anybody of you all aware who introduced the Pepsi Cola to the Sri Lankan market first? No? Cold stores. Ceylon cold stores introduced this market. Now I'll tell you the story on that. During that time, I did a research on that. That's what I'm well aware of that, right? When I'm doing the marketing. Then we have two main competitors. One is Pure Beverages, one of the leading soft brands in Sri Lanka. They market Coca-Cola, international brand. Along with that, they have Sharona, then other one Portello. They are local brands, right? Okay, the international brand is a Coca-Cola. Whereas their main competitor, the Ceylon Co stores, they don't have a international brand like Coca-Cola. They have a lot of strong local brands like Cream Soda, Elephant House, what you call Necto, Barley, So there's a very strong brand in Sri Lanka. And during that time, there's a huge competitions between these two companies. But unfortunately, the cold stores don't have an international brand to compete with them. Then the Ceylon cold stores, thought of bringing the Pepsi Cola brand, is another multinational brand, to Sri Lankan market. Some of you will be aware what I'm telling, right? Or just recall it. So they, now you need to understand this point first. During that time, no plastic bottles. All are replaceable bottles. You can remember the bottles, right? All are replaceable bottles, no plastic. Now, who manufactured the bottles? The manufacture the bottles in Sri Lanka, usually we have a company called Glass Company. 50% of the bottle requirement is done by Ceylon Glass Company in Sri Lanka. The balance they import from India. That is how it happened, right, in Sri Lanka during that time. Right. Then what happened? Ceylon Co's enter into a contract with Pepsi Cola company, right? Is a franchising arrangement. You know what is the difference between franchising and it's a licensing agreement, and you know the difference between franchising and licensing, right? So licensing means you give the brand name, you give the powder, and you mix it, and you can sell it like Coca-Cola. But in franchising mean is a hybrid product like McDonald's versus Abans, like Soft Logic versus Burger King, Cargill's versus with what's the Cargill's brand? Cargill's food chain is what is it called? Kentucky, no? Right.
KFC.
KFC, sorry, KFC, good. Right. These are the associations. Right. Now the classic good thing here. Then Ceylon Coasters has entered into the licensing agreement with Pepsi Cola USA, and then they carried out, they prepared for a massive campaign to launch the Pepsi Cola to the Sri Lankan market. Okay, now what happened? Coca-Cola companies got to know about these things, but the bottles they won't bring it. They bring the powder, and we have the machine also in cold stores. They are having that software market. No, they are doing the business. They bought a lot of what you call this powder, and they have manufacture locally and import some from something from India, the bottles with the brand logo. And mind you, at the very first instance, if they introduced the Pepsi Cola to the market, no bottles available. No, I think you understand that. So therefore, what happened? The cold stores need to give the bottle free of charge. Bottle free of charge, because that bottle is not available. No, like beers, you cannot exchange. No, it's a branded one. Now beer you can exchange. That story also I will tell you if you want. What happened to the beer market also, right, is another important area. I will tell that story or to you, because you need to look at it all these aspects when you're adding values, right? Then what happened? So Coca-Cola, the Costos carried out a massive campaign. I don't know whether you can remember. They give motorbike as a gift, promotional gift, motorbikes. I think during that time, the motorbike in that our countries, we don't have much open vehicles like this, right? Motorbike is a massive one. It's like a prestige vehicle, right? What happened? There's a contest between all these moody have the parts of the bicycle. So you need to collect the bicycle handle, something like that. He said this is the 10 parts. Say for an example, 10 parts. So you need to collect the bottles caps which are having those bottles. If you complete the bicycle with all these covers, right, only you get the systems completed. And they had a massive campaign. I think, to my knowledge, is 10 bikes to be given, right? 10 bikes to be given, because that will distributed, right, to different parts through the network of Ceylon Costos. We have a very good network, distributed network. Still, you can remember the big lorries going with C, right? Now this distributed. Fantastic. So with a lot of promotion, right? All products sold. All products sold. Right? Now, what happened? The bottles need to come back again to the recycling now. The first shot all was sorted out, all sold out. Of course, customers have purchased, so I don't know, but he sold it out. Then the cost was waiting for what happened? To recycling. And a bottle free first, because just to familiarize, if the bottles are not available, they said, okay, bottle price they absorbed, expecting the returns coming. So the returns won't be recycling to take place. The bottle is never returned back to the cold stores. What happened then? So they are waiting because they can't manufacture glass bottles as 1 day or 2 days. Because why? During that time, I told you, there is no plastic bottles available, or it's not there. Only the glass bottles, you need to refill it. So what happened? Ultimately, they have to stop licensing arrangement with Pepsi Cola because they cannot meet, because then they need to have to reproduce. They need to take at least another 6-7 months to manufacture the bottles, and also is a very much cost to them. They ultimately avoid from the contract with Pepsi Cola. What happened? The competitor bought their bottles. Some of the bottles they destroyed. Okay, so you destroyed and you can make use of it, right? When it's destroyed, the bottles can be reused with a high volume. So imagine this is how actually really happened in the Sri Lankan market. So the competitor has done dirty competition, yes, but what they happened, they have used the bottles. So they put another thing. So while their collection, and they also had some scheme going. If they collect the Elephant brand, this Pepsi Cola bottles, they will pay higher rates. Expecting they can buy it from again, right? The rupiah 5 samani bottle ganne Coca Pepsi Cola bottle rupiah 10 gatta, right? So imagine they use the competitor used to destroy the market, right? Classic example, right? Okay, so when you do things like that, I will explain all these things for you to understand how is difficult, how dangerous when you're going to do the test marketing, right? So these are actual case, right? Then after maybe 5-7 years ago, only the PepsiCo again back to Sri Lankan market. But during that time, we have now, you can't do the same thing now. Why? Because you can pack the Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola through the plastic bottles, right? Okay, right. With this understanding, we moving to the next one, right? Let's look at it. The CVP components. What are these CVP components? Now, CVP components, you can look at it from three ways. One is economic value. How can add economic value? Or material or functional value? Or emotional value? Right? These are the three components of customer value proposition. Now, what do you mean by an economic value? Now, economic value means basically it's a monetary benefits. Now, how banking products economic value? Banking products economic value is interest rates. How can you beat your competitor sometimes? By reducing your price or reducing your interest rate or offering higher interest rate. That is the economic value. That's a one aspect. There are not all are economically value sensitive, but there are some segment of the market. How many of us we use the economic value to attract new customers? Now I can tell you another story on that. I don't know, some of you may be aware that we had a huge competitions among pawning business. We had a huge competition among the pawning business. Now one bank, one of the leading bank in Sri Lanka, State Bank, they want to capture the People's Bank market. They are the market leader, no? Is around 120 odd billions now, right? The portfolio, right? Around 120 odd billion, right? Is number one. Number two is the Bank of Ceylon. Number three is the HNB. I think NSB also something close to that. Okay, okay, it doesn't matter, right? So what bank? One of the State Bank has done it. I can remember that time the rate is around 15%, not like now, for 15%. So one other State Bank want to capture the People's Bank market. They introduced 13%. They said 13 or 14% or 13%. It's a very attractive, no? They charge 13%, and they can first month free, and you can pay installment. And I mean, they came up with values additions to the pawning business, pawning customer. Not only that, how they add another value to that, right? They said, okay, they will go to the customer, one representative from the bank with the money, right? These are some actions taken by even for some government bank. With the money, go with the customer and settle their loans. Okay, maybe 16-17% they have done it. That particular competitor bank, go with this bank representative to that particular bank and withdraw the redeem the article, go along with the customer to his bank and pawn that item for 13%. But sometimes customer won't get any sense out of that. Why? Because the redeem money is given by a competitor. No? But what is the advantage to the customer? The interest rate reduced to 4-5%. From 16 to 13 is a huge amount. And they also believe, because that bank also a government well-established bank. So they think, okay, no problem. Rather than give it to the private bank, it's a story different. But another more powerful bank than People's Bank. And this is how they became number 2 after that, right? So this is a strategy they use it. Brutal strategy. That's a different story. But that is how they create value. Go with the customer. Even now you can see something there. No? Now if you go outside, some small boats are there. ඔබේ රත්තරන් සින්න වෙන්න යනවාද? අපිට එන්න අපිට කියන්න කෝල් කරන්න මේ නම්බර් එකට අපි ඔයගලන්ට හොඳ මුදලක් දෙන්න. එනොත් නිකම් පාරේ ගහලා දිනවා බෝට්ස් නේ. ඉතින් ඒ බෝට්ස් වලට රෙස්පොන්ස් කරනවා නම් මේ වගේ ස්ටේට් බැංක් එකකින් කියන දේවල් අහන්න නැති ඉන්නවා. customer has benefited. කොහොම සින්න වෙන එකනේ කීයක් හරි අරගත්තම මොකද වෙන්නේ? Right? So these are some of the values, the economic value, you can use it. I'm just give an example. Right. Second one is the material or functional value. Material or functional value. Now, what is functional value mean? Right? So you add something. It's a measurable or functional benefits to the customer. Right? In addition to the price, the functional benefits. Now, say example, I've just got you. Right? Now you have a TV there earlier. Right? I'm just referring a little long ago, right? For understanding purposes. Okay, you have a TV. Now, every time, if you want to switch the channel, you need to get up and go to the machine and do the channel changing. Then organizations use remote controller. Use the remote control. Now you don't want to get up and change your channels. While you are sitting, you have the remote controller in your hand. You change your channels. That is a functional value. Same thing, nothing. Same thing. And this is important things. How the Mobitel or telecom brings or basically the Mobitel brought the POTV. Fantastic value addition, no? Even though the dialogue having that facility is not fully replaced with pure TV. I mean, everybody want to see. That's a value addition. This is how you create value for your TV. Entertainment. Right? That's a functional value you bought, like your remote control. Okay? I just tells you how you add values. Think about your bank. How can you add value? Right? At the time of you open an account, if you can give a card, right? Say for an example, the moment you open an FD, right? And just food for thought, right? Okay, person comes to the open FD, term deposits, right? You just give him a card Whether you like it or not, you give them a card. At any time, you can make uses to get a loan against your deposits. Right? So these are functional benefits you are getting to the, it may be costly. That's a different story. But this is how you value addition. Right? Every time you open a LC, of course, certain amount. Okay, you give them a card. During at the opening of the form, you fill up these forms also. Right? If you want, you make use of. Accordingly, you have to adjust your system, right? To be interest, to be deduct and all. Right? One day, they may come. That's a functional value. These CV components now add through the fintech companies. Banks, if you're not in a position to apply, you can make use of the fintech company to do that at a low cost. You need to look at it. Now, I think everybody may heard about point of concept was successful of shared KYC. Right? The central bank has initiated. They have done some testing about shared KYC. So you imagine the shared KYC. Everybody keep a KYC copy. Why not? Why should? It's a shared KYC. The moment you get a KYC, is enough for everybody to look at it. Storing cost, right? Building storage cost. I mean, a day, a lot of things we sort it out. Now that is been concept of testing, COP. Right now, that concept of testing mean no, pilot of testing, proof of testing. Sorry, right? So POT. So that is mean. So they have done a sample with some banks in Sri Lanka. They have done a test and they said okay, and it was successful. They are going to implement common or shared KYC in the very soon. That's a functional value will bring the to the banking system by the central bank as our regulator. It's a good thing, right? Point of concept, right? Okay, POC, point of concept, right? So that was approved and tested, and they may going to go for large scale, right? So that's a functional value, right? Okay, just I'm telling you some example, right? Then let's go to the emotional value. Now, one thing you need to understand, we all are emotional customers. We, even in economy only, we behave like economic customer. In theory only, we are going to learn economic customer. So we are handling economic, rational customer. In economy, we are going to learn about the rational customer. But other than that, every time we behave like an emotional customer, irrational customer, in emotional way. අපි ඒකනේ අඬන්නේ. අපි ඒක තමයි ලස්සන දෙයක් දැක්කම තණ්හාව හිතේ. නේද? අපි සමහර ලස්සන ඒවා දැක්කම නේද? මොනවාර හිතෙනවනේ එක දේවල්. That is the human being character. So therefore, why don't you make use of that to add value to your product and services? That is emotional value. Now that is why you have a different shape of the shampoo, different shape of the bottles, you know, and cute bottle we buy sometimes. That is the intentional aspects of adding value. So usually in CVP, what we try to do, we try to add value to our products through these methods. We try to add economic value. These are the components. Maybe economy, we look at it, the material or functional value. We look at the emotional value. Thanks, what would you like that? Even for our life also we do. When you find a partner, we look at the economic value. How much of dowry is going to give me? That's economic value. Then we look at the material functional value. When you're finding out the partner, we look at it, not only the partner, we look at the partners, the surrounding, how many brothers, sisters he's having, what is his father's doing, he's a politician, so politicians, we look at it, how many brothers and sisters, right? Only child, we all look at it. Why? Because functional value. Then also we look at the emotional value. මෙයාව පාරේ ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන්ද, කොහොමද ලස්සන, කොණ්ඩේ දිගද, සුදුද, කොණ්ඩේ කපලද, ගානට ඉන්නවද? We all look at it, no? When you're selecting also we use these values, right? So you can make use of these values, right, to deliver your product and services, right? Okay, understood, right? Now I think you have an idea, now you have a little bit of idea about the customer value proposition, right? Next, now we are going to discuss what are the strategies available with us to create CVP. What are the areas we are going with? All other things are very broad areas they given. But now we are going to look at it. Some of the strategies, we may use it to create CVP, to create the customer value proposition, right? We may look at it in 3 areas. Operational excellence, we look at the product leaderships, and we look at it, the next one, with the intimacy. So what you call the final thing is the product customer intimacy. So these are the 3 broad strategic areas: operation excellence, product leadership, and customer intimacy. These are the broad strategies areas. Under each area, we are going to look at it with use of some example prevailing in the world and Sri Lanka, what they have done to add or create CVP. Okay, the first strategies we are going to touch on the operational excellence. So we have a break now since it's 3:15, right? Okay, so we'll have a break. How long you need, Puta? We'll have a 20 minutes break. So let me start where we stopped before the break, and what we are discussing, the strategies to create CVP, right? Now, what is the first strategy we are going to discuss with you all is an operational excellence, right? Now, operational excellence is a philosophy of making continuous improvements in organizational processes by focusing the need of the customers and empowering employees. Now we are trying to improve the organizational processes, right? So we are trying to add value. Now, through the lean management, so the lean manufacturing, then rigorous cost cutting and quality control and process improvement and measurements, and this is how you are trying to improve the operational excellence. Now, the Walmart, Toyota, McDonald's are basically these organizations, the leading organizations in the world, right? So how they try to do, now they try to use the above techniques like lean manufacturing, rigorous cost and quality control. And through that, what they are trying to do, they try to improve the process. Now, what is lean manufacturing or lean management, what you call, right? The lean management, you can say, why we try to maximize the customer value through the lean management or lean manufacturing processes. We are trying to maximize the customer's value while minimizing waste and creating more value for customers with fewer resources. That is how you're going to uh, add values, minimizing customer, maximizing customer value by minimizing the waste, right? And most of the time, sometimes a lot of people thinking the lean management techniques you can apply only to the manufacturing organizations. No, no, no. The lean management can also apply for banks as well. Now, how? Now, this process become more competitive advantage. Or now, say for example, the process planning avoid the availability of service by establish service standards. If you establish the service standard, so that's also you can use the lean, reduce the cost, reduce the cost, or reduce manage the waste. So that's another important area. And also you look at it, the process can be defined. Process, what is mean by a process. The process mean usually a series of activities or set of activities perform an organization to achieve a specific specific outcome. Now you may learn about the things called the uh, the I think you may learn about fishbone, right? Fishbone diagram. I think the fishbone diagram is a very famous one where you will call to understand. Sometimes we call cause and effect method. So you look at the effects. So you look at uh, the process aspects. You look at it, the causes, effect. Say for an example, reductions of sales. Example, right? So reductions, I'll give you an example, reductions of sale. What are the causes? Causes can come from different means. Maybe poor quality product, maybe ineffectiveness of salespeople, lack of training, a lack of distribution, lack of promotion, right? So there may be enough reason for sales comes down, right? For example, I'm just telling, right? Then you look at it, what are the main reason for that? And then you identify that particular reason will impact the effect. That's the cause. So you try to rectify that cause. So that is what we call the fishbone diagram. Sometimes we call cause and effect methods, right? These techniques we are using to, right, simplify or improve your process. Another method we call them as a PDCA cycle. Now, PDA cycle means basically it is the guy who discovered the cycle we call Damien cycle. Now, what is Damien cycle? He identified the entire process can be divided into 4 areas. Now, 4 areas are P. P mean what? Plan. D mean do. C mean check. A mean act. Right? So that is what you call PDCA cycle or Damien cycle. Now, in the planning process, it referring to the phase in which an organization formulates a plan that contains objectives with regard to a particular project, so whatever, and then outline the processes that is planning to implement for attaining the expected outcome. So you plan it first one. and then do it. So do mean refers to the second phase of Damien cycle, where in which an organization execute the plan that has formulated in the plan phase, right? So we will carry it out, right? Uh, then the third step is what you call the C step, that is check. Now this check stage, what we are doing, referring to the most important phase in this PDCKL process, right? Compared with the expected outcome. So you are checking with the expected outcome with actual results. Then the last one is the act we call the referring to the last phase which an organization take corrective actions against the deviations identified in check-in phase. So this is very simple, but remember this is a 4 phase of the Damien cycle, where this is never ending improvements. This continuously going through, right? Like this every time. So keep on improving your process. That is what you call the Damien cycle. Then there is another one famously we use it. We call control charts. Now you have the control chart also. Now control charts, you noted that when you go for some hospital, you noted there is some chart there. Then it's going up. Now it's referring to the process improvement tool that determining the tendency of the particular process, whether it is deviation, how is deviating from the process, right? So that is control chart. Then chart. So then you may have the what you call the Pareto charts, right? Now Pareto charts mean it's helping the determining the root cause of the process failure, right? So 80% of the problems are only contributing by the 20 people, 20 issues. You will address these 20 issues. Now those are very famous Pareto charts, right? So we call them as is moving here and there. Then you may have another thing what you call the scatter diagrams. Now these are all are very much known things, right? The scatter diagrams represent a graphical link between performance of a particular process with the overall performance of an organization, right? It's the graphical chart. So if you look at, say for an example, day here, and you have a dot figures, and you have a straight line which represented the more daughters, that is scattered diagram, right? Where you can see the deviations, right? And also you may use it certain activities, what you call the Porter's value chain analysis. I think that also you may be aware what is Porter's value chain analysis. You have the process, right? Input logistic, then the process and the output logistic, and then you said what sales marketing and output. Those are the main activities or main activities. In order to facilitate the main activities, what are the supportive activities you need? Say for an example, infrastructure, then you may have HR, then you have a processing, procurement, right? And all technological, all things, those are supportive activities. Now you can see finally in the Porter's value chain analysis, what chain, right, are contributing more bottleneck to your final output, right? Then you try to improve that is what you call Porter's value chain analysis. Now these are very simple and these are very straightforward thing you may come across with the operational excellence, right? So straightforward. These are analytical things where you have mistakes. You identify that mistakes, you try to improve that process by make use of a PDC cycle or Damien cycle, Fishbone diagram, control charts, Pareto charts, scatter diagrams, Porter's value chain analysis, right? We all are techniques can be used to understand your process, and you find it out where you are wrong or where may be weak. You are trying to improve that particular process. Now, again, you may have another important thing. It's called improving the buying process. Now, say for example, the value can exist outside your product or services, right? Find ways you can make it easy for customers to buy your own offering. Now, think about the establishing an online purchasing option, right? Customers can browse your goods, and even they were not available locally. You can buy it from anywhere. Now, to provide incentives for the customers, such as free shipping, fast delivery, responsive customer service, easy return policies, like that, there may be, if you're not, now even for Uber is telling, if you're not get the goods within before this and this time, free of charge, like that. So build up the confidence, value addition. Now, good example, you may noted that the Airbnb, right? Now you look at the low cost, high value. Now these guys, they are in B&B, they don't have any hotel, right? It's booking facility, right? So improve the processing. They don't have any hotel facility. They don't have any hotel. Now if you look at value innovation in hospitality, Hyatt and Hilton, market capitalization is 15 billion. But if you really look at it, these are the guys who own the hotels, mind you. These are the guys who own the hotels, but their market capitalization is 15 billion. Whereas in A and B, they don't have any hotels, but what is their market capitalization is 28 billion over. So both are in the hospitality industry. But how they add value, right? Okay, just classic example. Here they are having this operational excellence, right? So this is some example I can quote you from the process element. So operational excellence, right? Clear? Right. Now we move into the second strategy. The second strategy is basically the product service leadership. Now, this implies that an organization can create CVP by providing excellent product and services to customers. Now, what do you mean by an excellent services? That means in order to do that, you need to do a lot of product innovations, or maybe service innovation, right? And research and development. Now, in Sri Lanka, we usually call the Sampath will always telling, we are the people who bring a lot of new things to the organization, new things to the market, new technical things or any other things. A lot of innovations things bring to the market. Right? Now, example like Intel, then Singapore Airlines are the leading organization who come up with offering product service leaderships, right? Mind you that. Then also, now you can create value at different product levels. Now, uh, now I explained to you earlier, customers usually do not purchase an organization product, rather than they buy solution, right? So product then provide better solution, create more value to the product, right? Now remember, now I have told you customers do not purchase an organization product, but they try to buy, they want to a solution. Now how can you provide solution? Product that provide better solution. That means they create more values to the product. Then only they can give a better solution to customers' problem. Now I think everybody must be aware. So we discuss about the products levels, right? Basically, we have a different textbooks will talk about the different layers, right? Some layers have 3 layers, some having 5 layers, like that. But if I put it in a very simple, all things together, we can identify 3 layers. We say core layer, right? That is a basic advantage. That is what you call core product, or sometimes we call core layer. That is a basic advantage. All right. So the second layer, we call them as a enabling product layer, or enable product layer. Enabling, ENBLING. Right. Now that third layer, we usually call them as an augmented layer, the augmented product layer. So that is the layer everybody is trying to add new values into the augmented layer. So what are the available things in the augmented layer? After sometimes it becomes the normal layer. Everybody is going to give is no more augmented, right? So how can you bring the leadership? By adding value to your augmented layer. Now, example, I'll take you for understanding. Think about MBA. So most of you are doing MBA, right? Now, what is the basic advantage? Think about the MBA with the core layer, right? So maybe salary increment. Why you do MBA? That is your main core benefits or core product, to improve your salary, improve your personal growth, career development, promotion. That is why you do a MBA. That is the second layer, is what you call enabling product. That is for as far as the MBA is concerned, you are offering physical services, right? That need to be provided with the core product. Right now, for that you need, for MBA, you need to have the classroom, the technology, building. If you come physically, you need to have a better library facilities, right? Better classrooms, and then if you're on online, you must have a better better classroom, better online facility, better technology. Now, the Indian cricket team sponsored by BJ, something. They are an education provider. You imagine what sort of income they are generating to sponsor Shah Rukh Khan one way, as well as to sponsor the Indian cricket team. Imagine, right? How good that particular market is, right? At the last layer, that is the augmented layer, right? So differentiating from your competitor, right? So your MBA, what you're following, must be better MBA than other MBA. For that, you look at the ranking of the world, whether it is approved or whatever the ranking, right? So every time you need to add value. So you are in the number 3, you want to become number 1. How can you do that? How can you become number 1? Right? So there are strategies available for improve the CVP to get the product or service leadership. Right? Now, how do you augmented the layer? How you augmented the layer? Now, that is you can do with product innovation, providing additional benefits, providing product service bundling, branding, and product synergies. Right now, I think you understood. Now, second strategy, what we are discussing, the product service leadership. You want to get the number 1 position. Now, how can you get the number 1 position in the market? By one way is innovation. For that, you need to do a lot of research and development. So, creating value at different products levels. Now, you see, we have a 3 layer. We call the core layer, enable layer, and augmented layer. So we talk about the augmented layer. Other two layers are there. You need to provide. Augmented layer is we keep on adding value. Now, how can you energize or fortify with augmented layer? You can do 5 things to that. One is innovation. Third, additional benefits. Third, product service bundling. Fourth, branding. And fifth, product synergies. Now we'll take one by one. How can you use the product innovation to augment your product, right? Now you know the product innovation is a modification. Usually the lot of innovations are modifying your existing product and services. Most of the product innovations are like that, right? That is always try to add value to your existing product. I mean, to modify your existing product. Maybe cost reduction, maybe extended your product line and things like that, right? So very few are developed from sketch. Everybody is trying to develop a product by changing the existing product, but very rare really product innovation is coming out. Now, two examples I can talk to you. The true innovation is Sony Walkman. Now Sony Walkman is now a little bit out, but you know what happened to Sony Walkman. You know the history behind the Sony Walkman, right? Now there are different story about the Sony Walkman chairman, or maybe the research guy, I can't remember, visited the India, Kolkata we call it. And he want to enjoy listening to some music. If you've been to Kolkata, you know how busy is that. Very soundy. All houses are close by close. Very, very soundy place. Even though you are in your own room or hotel, you can't, I mean, you disturb. You cannot enjoy. So therefore, he thought he want to have a nice music. If you can enjoy myself, is how good, rather than disturbing from others. Then what happened? Having identified the gaps and the needs of the customer's mind, the Sony guy came to the Japan, his factory, and called his research guys, all these technical guys, and he communicate to all his technical people, engineers. I went to India. I had a real life situation. I face a real life situation like this. I want to enjoy myself, just listen to the music, but it's not facilitated because there are so many sounds disturb me. Then they work it out. They did a lot of research and development and tested. That is how the Sony Walkman came into the market. Right? Okay. Now, what do you mean by a new product? How can you give a leadership product? Needs and expectations are not filled with existing product. That is the normal new products. No? So you not fulfill from the existing product. Or maybe customer sophisticated, or maybe customer savvy, technologically savvy, right? So why we need new product? Customers become more sophisticated, more techno savvy. The income level is going up, right? Existing product not fulfill the requirement of the existing people. So that is why we need for a new product. Now, some new products also sometimes come with accident. So very famous case is, the penicillin case. Still we use. Can you tell me another mistakenly you have introduced a new product? Another good example is Teflon, non-stick pan, right? So it is not purposely try to create a new product, but it is a suddenly scheme. Teflon, they identify some chemical which is erroneously happened, and we found it's nothing sticking to that point, and then they came up with that idea to come up with non-stick pan. Still, imagine how much of us, right, we are using non-stick fans, right? Those are new products like nylon, like dynamite. Those are something came out of something, right? But then again, there is make a unique product, right? Make a unique product. Try to communicate what makes your product or services so different from your competitors, right? Consider doing a market research to learn, like the research himself initiated by Sony Workman Chairman, right? So make a unique product. Now, classic example I can quote you in this respect is what? Can anybody tell me? That is what you call uh, is Apple, Microsoft. Apple. Now, iPad. Now, it is usually a total innovation. Now, good example, you compare Apple versus Microsoft, right? You be aware where these Apple having the market capitalization 4.3 billion in 1998. During the same period, you saw the Microsoft, right? Their market capitalization is something around 244.8 billion. Microsoft also growing around 340s in 2019, and now I think it's around 400, 500 close, right? So imagine the slowly growth Microsoft. But look at the Apple, starting from 0.43 billion in 1998, and now is around 742 and maybe around 1,001 trillion mark. So they come up with iPod, iTunes, iPhone, Apple Store, iPad, Apple Watch, right? All our bankers are using now. So it's a series of successful market creating moves. That is why the Apple became the number one today, right? They may look at it, the product leadership, right? That is the product innovation. Product innovation. Right? And this is an ideal best example I can give you for that metaphor. Anybody can give you this. Very fantastic, very novel idea. How Apple became number one in the market leadership. Then you look at this, what happened to Nokia? So Nokia is the market leader. Right? You see, look at the Nokia versus Apple. Right? You see the Nokia versus Apple. Right? So Nokia has not changed with the market. But Apple has changed. Now you look at it from these two graphs. So how Apple is taken over by the Nokia. right? Clear? The classic example, you can use it, right? Right.
So excuse me, sir.
Yeah, sure. It is not.
Uh,
It is
you
not
are
clear.
yes, yes,
Huh?
yes,
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In corporate, I will send you with the like first one, right? I have given you some samples. I want to explain to you some benefits. I have incorporate uh, later to my this one, right? Okay, so don't worry.
Okay,
Then
sir.
when again another example, I think you may heard about the blue ocean strategy. Have you heard about the blue ocean strategy? Anybody? I think some of me you heard about the blue ocean strategy. What is the strategy? You are well familiar. Fight with your competitor.
In blue ocean strategy, competitor cannot follow up. We have the
Yeah,
competitive advantage.
yeah, correct. No, no. What is the other strategy against the blue ocean strategy? Usually
Red,
everybody is
red
huh?
ocean. Red
Red
ocean.
ocean strategy. Very good. Red ocean strategy. So that is we use the more or less a who's steering in the red ocean strategy we are using. Michael Porter's again comes into the scene. We use Michael Porter's three forces strategy. You know what is cost differentiation? Sorry, cost leadership, differentiation strategy, and the focus strategy. So what Michael Porter is talking here, he said, okay, you want to compete with your competitor and get the competitor's market share to you. That is what Michael Porter is telling. That is what you call a red ocean strategy. You compete with your competitor using certain strategies, and right, so that means you're basically competing in existing marketplace, and you try to beat the competition, right, using these strategies, then exploit existing demand as possible, make the value cost trade-off. That is leadership, cost leadership, right? For that we have three strategies. But the blue ocean strategy is not like that. What is trying to create value innovation through, don't compete with your competitors. Create an unconstructed marketplace. Make the competition irrelevant. ඔය ගහගත්ත දේ මම මගේ ගමන යනවා. Create and capture new demand. Break the value cost trade-off. To what extent in that case, Apple may use this. Apple not went into fight with the leaders in the market. They develop their own innovation. They develop a specific market for their products, right? So this blue ocean strategies is a foot forward by Kim and Marbon in 2005, and introduce how company may achieve a quantum leap in through value innovation, right? And now this concept describe how to formulate a strategy by creating an uncontested market space and reconstructing market boundaries, right? So if you look at it, they talk about the red ocean approach and blue ocean approach. Classic example, you took an apple, right? So this is the creativity and their competitiveness, right? Then they look at it, red ocean approach, you take 3 points. But their blue ocean approach, they look at the balance, low cost as well as differentiation, right? Now, again, this one also is not with you, right? What you're trying to do, you try to value by eliminating, reducing, creating and creating something. Okay, So a good example I can quote you in here, right? Example I can quote you, what you call grid. Grid means eliminate, raise, reduce, create. So that is the main area they look at it. Now, I'll give you an example for that. One example is Airbnb. Right? You noted that they came up with a new way of doing the business, no? Right? We discussed earlier how they came. Another example I can quote here is the Elon Musk. Who is Elon Musk? Anybody is aware who is Elon Musk? Huh? Who is Elon Musk? No idea about Elon Musk? Elon Musk? Right? He is the owner of the who? Tesla company, the largest electric car manufacturer. Now he also used a blue ocean strategy. Now, so I think he's want to construct a builder, a mega, we call giga. You can't say mega. You say giga factory to manufacture cars, electric cars, right? Giga factory. It's a business expansion, no? It's a strategic expansion. In order to do the strategic expansion, what do you need? What do you need? If you want to improve your business, what do you need? You need capital, right? So any organization, how they bring capital to the business? What is the normal way they improve the capital to the business? One way is issuing shares. The moment you issue in shares, you are diluting your ownership. Second one, borrowing. The moment you borrow, whatever you have usually to issuing a debenture or whatever, usually you need to pay high coupon rate. That's a normal pattern. For you need capital. These are very simple, broad methods. But when Elon Musk, he want to manufacture a giga factory for manufacturing of what you call these electric cars, he said he developed some innovative idea. His value processing, his need capital. What he has done? He has done, Puta. They said, okay, if you want a car, if you want an electric car, within 2 years now, or maybe 1 year, he said a 2 years time. He said, this is the price. Say example, $30,000. Say for an example, used US dollars, 30,000. That is comparatively very cheap. We need to assume comparative of the car market is say 50,000 or 60,000. You can get 40% to 50% reduction rate, right? But he said, okay, if you want to have a car, I am going to build a factory. It is a giga factory which I hope to manufacture so many cars, blah blah blah. I need capital to do that. In order to generate funds, what I'm going to do, I'm going to sell the cars which I'm going to manufacture. Everybody of you all, provided that is a new modern car which I'm manufacturing, and they show the cars look like this and blah blah everything. Now you need to pay me the money. Now you need to pay me the money. Right? Clear now, understood? Right. Maybe everybody's like, because of course, Tesla is the recognized person, and customers may believe him. That, of course, you need to understand. So what happened? Now he said, okay, I can manufacture so many cars from this my factory. It costs so much to build my factory or my giga factory. So he estimated that and he worked it out. He said, okay, I'll give you, say, 50,000 cars, but cars can be taken after 2 years' time. But there may be a offset for interest and other things. They will reduce the pricing. And he estimated that in another 2 years' time, your normal car price is going to be so much. But if you put the money now, I'll guarantee you the car, but this is your price. Everybody put the money. Now, how they generate funds? How they generate money without paying any cents? Don't you think it's a novel way of capital sourcing? Nobody has done before that. Everybody tried to introduce shares, introduce debentures and like that. He said, okay, no. And mind you, he in a position to send the cars, not even 2 years, I think 1 to 1.5 years, all the cars he has manufactures and promise those people who send the capital to them, release it. After 2 years, yeah, okay.
So condominium property developers also following the same strategies, no?
Yeah. That's very good, Olabalu, right? So these are the new ways, right? So that is how new thinking. Everybody is thinking the most traditional methods. We look at it the new way. How can you build? Because now is his money, is his own factory. All the money, all the profits he's generating is for him, not diluting his shares, right? Okay. And again, I want to tell you now, recently, because we are in the same track, now, he is the first guy, the cryptocurrency, right? I think you may have heard about all these things. Now, cryptocurrency went on very high one time, no? How much? It goes to $1 equal to how much? I think it's gone to 60,000, no? Right? Imagine. Why? Because Elon Musk, the Tesla car, can be buy from cryptocurrencies. That is why he became number one time, richest person one time, because he's opened their cars to bitcoins. Cryptocurrency, if you pay from cryptocurrency, you can buy cars. Oh my goodness. Cryptocurrency's value has gone up. One of the problem of the cryptocurrency is market speculation. I mean, the market fluctuation. Now, what is the present day? It goes to, what is the rate today going? One time we started with $0.8 and it is going to 10,000 as like that. Now I think it's 20,000 not, right? That is the rate is going. But then suddenly Alan stopped of selling cars for bitcoins. Why is that? Can anybody tell me why is that? Elon Musk stopped by selling cars through bitcoins. What is the reason? Right now, you got the China also stopped. That's another reason. But why Musk stop it selling cars through bitcoins? Right. So reason now, Musk is selling electric cars. So assuming that there may be a green environment, things are taking place. They are not polluting, right? That's the intention of electric cars now. But selling cars for bitcoins, in order to develop one bitcoin, what sort of energy used by the one formulate to one coin, I think it's a huge energy need to be used. That is why bitcoins they are no. Coin energy use karan. Then again, what happened is damaging the natural environment. That is what we said. Why I am stop selling cars for bitcoins, right? So that's a separate thing. But what I am going to tell you, imagine. So how we become the market leader? One time become the rich guy. Now I think he's on the second or third, no, right? But you see, innovative ideas. Now, everybody also talk to sometimes these condominium people. So condominium people are using that, right? Good. So, okay. So think about the really innovations, product innovation, right? Okay. Then you may look at it. Sorry. Right. The next point, value from products. Now I told you how can you augmented your layer. One way you can augmented your layer, I explained to you, product innovation. Second way, additional benefits. Now, most organizations provide additional benefits along with the basic product. Now, say example, 5-year warranty on a car, um, a free car maintenance facility for 2-3 years, like that, right? Get customer involvement. So these are additional benefits. Then again, I want to discuss something with you, and some of the things I think you may forget, but you have to remember. I'll give a Sri Lankan example. How CVP created by Abbas. So they have a thread firm. They have a thread firm Singer for I think from almost not computer, the laptops and other items, right? Usually all are Chinese product, mind you, right? So all Singer and Abbas, all are Chinese output. So what is the usual maximum warranty period or guarantee period they give for Chinese product? Usually 2 years. 2 years. Right? Now they want to compete with Singer, but they have done it. For a limited period, they have extended the guarantee period from 2 years to 3 years. Now they took at a risk. Right? 2 to 3 years. Usually, mother company give you 2 years. That means the guy who advance people who purchase from the supplier, they give 2 years. But top of that, so then only advance also give it to them and claim it, because supplier 2 years. Abbas can give more than that, no? Right? But Abbas took, despite the fact of their supplier giving for 2 years, Abbas went into 3-year guarantee period. Right? Then I had in fact asked from one of the guy who I knows to him, why you say 3 years? Yeah, we took a risk. We took the risk. And they have done some research. They said, usually, hardly all machines are basically may last for more than 2.5 years without having any problem. So we took the risk. We allocate some money from our budget. not from supply budget, right? If there is something happen, we make use of that budget. Now, budget, they use it. The extra sale they expected because of 3-year warranty, and part of that profit they have keep it separately for their business, right? So this is how they add values. Now, another example. Now, if you have a Mercedes-Benz, if you want to get a repair done, or if you get a service done, right? If you go to the Benz company, they won't do it. Suppose if your purchase is from a third party, or if your purchase is from another stocker or another car seller, they won't undertake to do the repairing or any service even. They will do how much you have to pay for them. To register your car in their name in order to do any repairs or any sort of service, you charge 500,000 rupees, right? Therefore, if you are not purchased the Benz from the Benz company, that is demo, right? They never do anything. But if you can do, but you have to pay 500,000 as a registration fee. What they're telling is the guy who bought for 18-17 million for Benz, why can't they pay 500,000? Right? So these are the new ways you can think and improve the business. Right? Okay, so that is one way you add additional benefits. Right? That is additional benefits. Okay, now we look at it. That is the product's benefits. Then we look at it, product service building, right? We look at it, product service building, right? Let's look at it, product service building, right? How? Now, this is another way. Now, package product at a single price. Now, good example here, I think most of you have, maybe now these days you can't travel, but a lot of travel organization, tour organization, what they are doing? They are doing the product service bundling. So they may pay your flight charges, then they pay your airport taxes, whatever, pay their transfers, they provide accommodations, hotels, and they also provide the meals. Right? So this is how the product service bundling. And also you look at it, the insurance guys. They bundle certain things together. If you having this, you get a life cover, you add some other additional cover like that. This is very simple thing, but these are common mostly doing, but you need to look at it is bundling product service in a different way. Don't use the same thing. How can you look at it? How an organization can do all these things in a different ways. Right. Okay. Now, another important thing is value from products, the branding. Now, you know what is brand. So brand is referring to a name, or maybe a design, maybe a word, maybe a logo, symbol, right? Now, those are used for an organization to differentiate your product with your competitors' product. Right? Now, branding, reducing the searching cost. Branding, gaining experience. Right? These are advantages to the adding value. How brand add value to your product. right? Bring the brand loyalty. Now, I told you that no more brand loyalty today. People are changing. Now, brand switching. Now, a good example about the brand switching is what? Can you tell me a brand switching problem in today what we face? Sort of every home will face this problem. Switching, branding switching, or brand switching we call. Give me an example in Sri Lanka. Everybody face at the moment you also now facing. Right? Government want to have a one single unit, single organization. What is the problem? What is the brand switching problem? What is the item everybody is facing today? Very difficult to switch the brand. Yeah, you can switch it the brand, but it's costly. Consumer item. Think about laugh gas cylinder. Right? Think about the laugh gas cylinder. You see recently somebody was painted with the blue, right, for laugh gas cylinder, yellow. Now again, no more cylinders, no more gas is available in the litro, not litro, the what is that, laugh. Now, guys who purchase the cylinder of laugh, now what they're going to do? Because there's no laugh gas. Only litro is available. If you're going to buy the litro, what is the cost today for cylinder, empty cylinder? One time is maybe 5,000, 10,000, now it's maybe 12,000, 13,000. That's also not giving. That is brand switching difficult. Right? So you cannot move to another bank, another brand. Right? Okay. So what banks also do the same thing. Right? Making switching difficult. Suppose a lot of banks are competing with, competitions. We have a credit card competition, and we have a housing loan competition. What we are telling, the market size is, Sri Lankan housing market, I think, is around not much. It's around 300 to 400 billion. Small market, right? Not big. So therefore, every bank is telling what? Bring other people loan, housing loan to us. We will redeem. So banks customers are right, like earlier that one state bank has done it. But you have done it. So make it your brand switching difficult. So you increase your penal rates or penalty rates. Right now, central bank also going to do some actions on that. Because I mean, okay, I am a customer. I bought. Now we need to look at the both sides of the coin. I am a customer. I took a loan for 16%. Right? Then another person, right, at the moment is around 7, 8, 9%, say for example. I unnecessarily paying 7%. Where if I go to another bank, I can use as a new loan because that X bank, say, has done the preliminary work. Of course, for that they have charged from me. I know they have charged. Then if I go to redeem my loan and put it to the other bank where I got 6% interest rate, so I'm benefited too. Because why should I pay 16, 14%? I have a request to reduce the rescheduling or whatever reduction of my interest rate. Or otherwise I'll do you. Then bank will charge me a fee. Certain fee for me for redeem fee. But sometimes it's more valuable than that. Sometimes paying the redemption fee or some penalty is benefited for me to go to another bank, right? So what is from the bank point of view, they said I borrowed with the during that time in order to give you a 16%. I also borrowed the money. I also collect the money by paying a depositor of 16% to 18%. Say he can, but there's a mismatch in no. You are buying from customers for maybe 1 or 2 years. That 18%. But I'll pay you 16% for life or maybe 20 years. So in that case, be unfair by customer. Bank also have reason, but if you really look at it, the customer, there's a disadvantage point. So therefore, brand switching need to be reducing. Right? Okay. So customers are more like to buy from brands usually that represent the same morals and core values they do. Right? So brands, that gives back to the community or advocate for causes can connect with their audience and help customers to feel good about the supporting the brand. Now, sometimes the customers are supporting the brand because it is associated with the brand. That is called the brand equity, right? And sometimes you need to create a intentional mission statement, adding more personality to your branding or contributing the percentage of your proceeds of the charitable cause, right? So then you may add value to your products through branding. Now, what we are explaining, how can you add values? Different ways of you can add values to your products. Right. Next one, right? So this one, value from product synergies. Now, what is synergy? Synergy, is a technically defined word. 1 + 1 is more than 2. So some of the organization create value for customers by identifying synergies among the different products. Now, take for an example, I will give you an example. Now, if you're going to buy the Microsoft software, so Office complementary software for retail related application will be give you with a reasonable price or maybe some concession rates. So that is what you call the product synergies, right? Okay. Now let's look at it. How can you add value from services? Now, what is service? Service, you well aware, can be defined as an economic activity that is performed by an organization to satisfy requirement of customer. Now, organization can create value from services. Organization also can create value from services, ensuring 3 ways. One is service quality, service guarantees, service recovery programs, right? Now, through the services, how can you add value? 3 ways. One, service quality, service guarantee, and service recovery programs, right? Now, let's look at it how service quality able to provide the value for your services. Now, what is service quality? Now, service quality usually we are referring to the comparison of the organizational expectation for a service and its actual performance. That is service quality, right? Okay, you expected something, that is your perceive. This is your delivery. If you are matching these together, right? If you perceive, if you are actually deliver, we call them as a satisfied service. If you give less than what you are perceived, dissatisfied service quality. Suppose if you are giving more than what you are expected or what are you perceived, what is that service quality? We call them as a delighted service quality. I am getting more than what I am expected, right? Okay, so for service quality can be used to add values. Now, how can you do that? One method, conforms to specifications. Conform to the specification. Now, for that, you may have preparing error-free invoices or transactions, right? Providing on time, addressing customer complaints within 24 hours, right? Okay, now sometimes you will say if you are not address your complaint within so many hours, please call or something like that. So that is service quality, right? Second aspect, right? The service quality has two aspects, two perspectives. One is conform to the specification. Second one, fitness for purpose. Now, fitness for purposes mean customize the service delivery. Customize the service delivery according to the customer's requirement. Then selecting on communication channels. So what is the channel or way of communicating the customer's request? Whether you ask email or phone or mobile, they'll ask. Even our reports will ask, no? Right? So that is how you add value to the services through service quality. Through the service quality, we can do it in two ways: conforms to the specifications and fitness for purpose. Right? Okay. Now, that is the first one. Now we learn value from services. How can you add value? Services. One method is services, quality, service quality. How can you do that? Through conform to specification and fitness for purpose. Now we move in for service guarantees, the third method. The second method. Now, how can you give a guarantees? Right? Now, what is service guarantee? Now, service guarantee helps in reducing the risk related to service for a customer and increases the value to customers. That is why we are giving a service guarantee. No? Service guarantees basically facilitate to reducing the risk related of your service, increasing the value to customer. This is what why we are look at it for when you are buying something. Why we are look at it for after sales? Because of this, right? Sometimes it's never happened. We never get the services, but still we look at it. That option is available, right? Now, promise made by an organization to its customer That would be deliver the prescribed level of service, right? Now, promise given by the organization to its customer, that would be deliver the prescribed level of service. Now, service guarantees also, you can have two types. What are the two types of service guarantees? One is because specific. Other one is a general. Now, it's like provisioning of our credit provisioning, right? One is specific, is provisioning, specific, other one is a general. Now, specific means guarantee are applicable to the certain part of customer experience. Only we are giving specific. අපි දැන් හිතුවා දකින්නේ මේවට විතරයි අපි දෙන්නේ. Right? Sometimes it's a general. Entire customer service. මොනවා වුණත් අපි කරනවා. සමහර වෙනවා මේවට විතරයි අපි දෙන්නේ guarantee. Then you need to look at it. What customer satisfy. දැන් එහෙම කිව්වම අපි customer risk එකක් දෙනවනේ. අපි දෙන්නේ මේවට විතරයි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේව තමයි කැඩෙන්නේ. Right? So sometimes it's never happened. Right? සමහරව කැඩෙන්නේ නැහැ. අද අපි කියනවා එහෙම කිව්වේ ගමන් අපි ඔළුවට එනවා මේව කැඩෙනවා ඇති හැමතිස්සෙම. Right? That's also you need to think. මේ හැම එකක්ම කැඩෙනවා. Right. Okay. Right. Then you need a services guarantee. Right? So that's the second one, right? We call value from services. How can you give the value from services? Through service quality and the service guarantee. Third one, service recovery program. Now we look at it, services recovery programs. Now, service recovery programs mean all the activities performed by an organization to solve a service failure. Now, say for an example, a service failure occurs maybe due to various or several reasons. Either may be a technical error, maybe due to customer error, maybe due to organizational error, maybe due to some functional error, maybe due to some network error, whatever you call it. Service recovery programs. So you are trying to address all these issues. How can you add value to that through this? Right? So up to now, so all these methods we discussed. How can you bring the leadership positions to your brand, your product or services? You look at it, how can you do all things to create value? Right? Clear? Right. Now, the final part. Now, up to now, what we have discussed. So we look at it, how you add values, right? How can you add value through product operational efficiencies or operational excellences, where we discuss about the process element improvement, right? And we discuss about the onboarding, onlining activities. Then we look at it, how can you improve the value through providing a leadership position or products leadership position. How can you become a leader by providing a service innovations, new way, right? We discuss a different example, and then we are going to look at it. The value from services. Value from services. That also we discuss in detail. And last one, we look at it. Strategies to create CVP through customer intimacy. Customer intimacy. Now, how you use this strategy? Now, this strategy is basically involves in performing in an in-depth analysis of customer requirements, fulfilling these requirements. Now, that is what a lot of fintech areas can come into the scene, like machine learning, big data analytics, right? You can get more insight information. McKinsey companies, the heavy users of this. And we learned last week the certain CRM architecture tools which provide informations about things like operational and especially the analytical CRM, right? How you analyze your customer, right? So therefore, remember, business successes today requires a new depth of customer insight, because customer is a difficult person to understand their behavior, right? And a lot of testing is done, what you call neuromarketing, because only thing is you can't do neuromarketing research because it's a live testing. Now, one of the research done, if you're going to buy a certain product, which sections of the brain activated? It's a classic example recently done. That is what you call neuromarketing research, right? They want to understand, suppose there are two bottles here, right? Two bottles here. Which products, which bottles or which brand I use it? When I going to use this brand, what are the brain activities are taking place? What parts of the brain, right, left, we have all these things here. Which part it's accumulation? That's what they're trying to do. This guy, having understood this, what they try to do, they try to find it out. Something which activate that particular sections of the brain. How can you appeal into that section to buy this product? Now, imagine the technology is gone to that extent. Look at the customer's insight. That is called neuromarketing research, right? So a lot of organizations are going for depth analysis, in-depth analysis. So that is what you call customer insight, right? So therefore, they need to use some advanced analytical tools for that, right? Okay, let me look at it. A lot of data is available, right? So advanced analytics can provide decision makers with deep insight on customer behaviors, attitudes, preferences, which can be used to craft the right offers to the right customer at the right time. So lot of organizations have ample data. Even the banks is having ample data. Tell me how many of us we use this data to take some decision, right? I just explained to you some data. So one way you can do, empowering employees to make a decision on behalf of the customers. That is why empowered employees play an important role in this aspect. Now, this is nothing to do with customer. So while empowering your employees, you can add value to the customers of us. That's two different things, right? I think you understood what I'm telling. Right? Empowering employees, you can add value to the customer's offering, making them intimacy. Apart from that, you may have educate customers. So to select the best value of your product service offering. You have FAQ pages. Now, those are things. There are a lot of websites. Responsive customer service. Now, these are some of the things can help your customers to understand your product or services and maximum. Now, a lot of organizations, especially Unilever, have separate websites, and you can call him if you have a problem. You get advices from him. Important thing is to improve the methodology of feedback. So develop a system where as much as possible you get the feedback. Now, it was estimated, I read a recent article, you know, these performance appraisal, right? One of the important factor in performance appraisal, why a lot of organizations are using the performance appraisal methods, superb methods, but they have identified, right? The moment you improve the feedback, and it is a successful performance appraisal system. So a lot of people have not paid much attention to the feedback. The more you ask from customer, more feedback given by the customer, and it's more close to your customer. And this is the best way you can learn the customers. We have some problem now. We may little reluctant to listen to others. Even though we are trying to actively showing him, we are listening to your problem, but we are passive listeners. Don't you? Right? But we try to show you, I am listening to you, but he can see from my faces, I may be not listening to him. Right? So the feedback, right, play an important role. Try to get the maximum possible feedback from customer. Then you can create the intimacy. Right? That's an important thing. Then provide a positive experience, positive interaction with you, not just their purchases. Right? Now, a lot of this area, of course, Sri Lanka also very much developed. Sending thank you emails to follow up on online transaction. Personalized note, sticker. So these are the important things. Now, I will give you one example. I did a service in some private a private service station company. I got 3 inquiries, right, from the reception, from the head of that my car who look after. Then after 3 days, I also got a call from that company also, right? Okay, you see 3 ways. I mean, this is true story. I got a first response from the receptionist. Then the second feedback from my the person who in charge my service. Third one from a call, right? So if you not make, because sometimes at the receptionist I can't say no. At the guy who did the service for me, I can't say no. But for the third guy, right, then you need to understand the importance of getting the feedback. 3 ways. Now, if I say no to first guy, or yes to this guy, second guy yes, third guy can say no, I am not happy. Now you are double checking, triple checking my satisfaction level. Get the feedback. Well, the phone call I can tell anything. Like the exist interview. Now, usually, some main banks are having exist interviews. Not for all. Even for all doesn't matter. If somebody is going to leave the organization, and the HR guy usually asks, what is the reason? Tell me exactly the reason you are leaving. Since you are leaving, you tell everything and go. Like that. Right? So, try to get more experience you have with your services. Right? Support customer service experiences that resolves any concern right away and leave also lasting positive impressions. Right? Remember that also. Then you look at the social networking. Try to bring that personal touch to you, a platform by linking your businesses to your Facebook, the Twitter, Instagram. Now that is what, honestly, today, a lot of organizations are using certain social media platform for your personal touch with your customers. So a lot of, I don't know about the bank, but a lot of other organizations creating a social network through a lot of social media platforms. Provide valuable content, right? Which sometimes we call content marketing, right? Free content on your website that is useful for relevant, right? Okay, these are, I don't want to explain all these things. These are some of the areas. There you can value from physical evidence. How banks, especially, you create value through the physical evidence, parking facilities. Those are common traditional marketing thing, but still you can do something to that. Next one, the increasing touch points. We are in the digital marketing age. So we can touch the customers, every customer's touch points. If you touch the customers at every point possible, so there is a chance of create an intimacy with the customers. Right? Okay. So there are a lot of help you to digital touch points that will help you to grow customer intimacy. Now, I'll tell you. Now, if you look at it, some website Now, within that website, it tells you how many times you seen this website, right? You first came to second day, third day, they put the dates also. Keep website value. And also they're telling welcome back to the same website. Right? Small things. Right? Okay. So these are the ways and means of increasing your customer touch points, add values. Right? Then finally, the value proposition, what we look at it in different angle, must be tested before you're going to apply. Again, when you're going to test it, you have to be careful whether your competitor going to copy you. Right? So then, because value proposition, again, a costly exercise. So before you going in great guns, so you need to test it, but test it also, you need to do it in a little bit of careful manner. Right? And with all these things, I think now you create a killer value proposition. Right? Okay? Right. Now, what, before we end up, so we discuss how to create a killing proposition, how to create a killer value proposition. Now, how to do that? I'll explain to you steps involving in developing a CVP, reviewing your, testing your existing CVP, and then you look at, you identify a critical improvement areas, improving your existing CVP and also validating. Then I'll explain to you what are the main component of a CVP: economy, functional, as well as emotional. Then we discuss in detail what are the strategies you can use to improve your CVP. One method is operational excellence. Under operational excellence, we discuss especially the process. We discuss about the lean management, right? We discuss about your analyzing your existing processes using certain known techniques like scatter diagram, Pareto charts, then Fishbone Diagram, cause and effect methods, PDCA, Damian methods. Then we discuss about the Michael Porter's value chain analysis. Then you look at it, the buying process also. Then we discuss how A and B enter into the hospitality market and come with the value additions. Then we move into the second method, that is strategies to create CVP in a product service leadership category. There we discuss in details how you can augment your product. We can augment your products in different ways. Through product innovation, we discuss how Apple has done that. They're creating additional benefits to product. Then product service bundling we discuss. Then we discuss about the branding and product synergies. Now all these methods we discuss how can you energize your value addition. Then with that, we discuss a little bit of red oceans and blue ocean strategy. And then we discuss how Elton Musk is used the capital funding, right? And then we move into the services. And the three areas we look at it, the services: service quality, service guarantee, service recovery. Through the service quality, we discuss confirming to the specification and the fitness of purpose. Then you look at it, how you improve your service guarantee by specific guarantees or general guarantees. Then service recovery programs, what are the errors we are going to look at it? How can you sort it out, these issues? And finally, we discuss about the customer intimacy. Right there, we discuss how your employees can be used through the education. How can you create customer intimacy? Getting the feedback from customers as much as possible, how you improve your intimacy. Social networking facilities, platforms, valuable contents. How can you use physical evidence to create intimacy? And how can you create every possible touch points to get have a create of customer intimacy, right? So these are the areas we discussed today in detail, right? And you noted that. So there are so many things we may know some of things, but you make use of to what? To address the customer addition of customer value, right? Now, you may not in the position to put all these things together, but at least certain things you can make use of inappropriately for fitting to your banking environment or given situation. Okay, right. So now almost 17, 18. So we may wind it up today, and we may therefore continue next week. We may look at it another area about customer experience and all, right? Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you on next Saturday, same time.